the meeting to order at 4:02. Is there any public comment on our screen? No. Nobody wants to talk to us. Okay. Any corrections or problems with the past minutes? Okay, so I'd like to ask for approval of the January 8th minutes. It is passed. So
Just go ahead and pause just for a second so we can wait until the ambulance backs in, so that noise can be cut off. And the garage door going down.
I didn't hear that.
And the garage door going down. Sorry. Okay.
Okay, Patty.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm presenting the February warrants that total $100,017.63. The total for payroll is $18,212.91. And that includes Chief Carlton's salary of $6,863.37. And Chief Shields' pay of $3,675.69. And there was one event for each of the commissioners and the board secretary. The total payout for the volunteers, including the warrants, is $12,757. So today I'm requesting the board's approval for the warrants and payroll for February in the amount of $118,230.54.
Yes, well, say so. Okay. Let's talk about it. So you're approving the $118,230?
Yes.
Okay, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, we'll go over that.
Okay. Okay, Patty.
Okay. Chief, do you want me to finish my report, or did you want to go over the warrants over 1,000 and then come back to me? It's up to you.
No, you can finish.
Okay, great. Thank you. This is just kind of a year-end budget recap also.
Huge.
The January financial statements along with the 2024 year-end reports have been handed out for review to the board. And as usual, I always report the remaining unused budget. And for 2024, that was $42,245.57. And the overall carryover, that's looking at the total revenue less the expenditures. There was a remainder of $395,239.45 that will just be transferring from the district's expense account into the capital account to be invested and used for future capital expenditures. So it's just, I don't need a second on that or a motion from the board. I'm just letting you know that we'll do that. It's just moving money from one spot to the other. And then as of January 31st of 2025, we have 95.19% left of the budget, and that's compared to 93.78% at this same time last year. And if the board has any questions for me, feel free, just let me know. I'm happy to answer whatever I can.
You have the. Well, you're gonna go through all of these expenditures.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I assume that, so,
Yeah.
yeah, a few questions there, but otherwise, no.
Yeah, so to go over the warrants over $1,000, the Ellen and Curtis, I am styling the new gear today. So part of it, I'll try to get in front of the camera here to style the new gear. This is the dual purpose gear that is PFAS, so cancer causing, forever chemical free. And this is our new wildland gear. Wildland gear, EMS gear, extrication gear, basically for everything except structural fires.
Okay.
So this cannot go into homes. So we still have our regular bunker gear. But this is for people to wear outside of that because our bunker gear still has PFAS in it. So we prefer people to be out of that as much as possible and only utilizing it when we have the heavy fire conditions and structural fires that need interior operations. Otherwise, medical calls, MVAs, wildland fires, all of that will be handled in this gear.
Is it comfortable?
Here, it's very comfortable, very, very soft. Grab the material.
Oh, hey, that's
Very
nice.
soft, but splash, so it can handle the wildland fires and everything else
Good.
as well. So
And the color on the legs is,
that's standard. So that's a standard reflective color. It's reflective at night.
So that's gonna go with snow and everything else, or is
The
that?
snow and stuff, sure, yeah. It doesn't have a moisture barrier in it. But it'll be good. We have knee pads too. You can use it with or without knee pads. But this gear overall, I believe was, it was right around $55,000 if I'm not mistaken. We sent off a check last year out of the budget of $20,000. And then this is the second part of that payment, which is the $35,134. So the first line item of over $1,000. So this, we have all of our pants, it looks like, but we're just waiting on the jackets. So the jackets will be the same color, same orange striping and stuff. There'll be a wildland type of jacket.
What's the main difference between the normal?
It's just different fibers. There's so many different fibers. Nomex is actually still available, but it has been superseded by other fibers that are more durable and stuff. So I want to say this might be this is the Fireline PGI. So PGI is the fabric that this of this material, and it's just it's another fire resistive. You know, this is supposed to be the most abrasive resistant material out there for cuts and nicks and for the longest wear possible. It's called
hot in it?
no, that's why it's so light,
Okay.
right? Nomex, we'd be a lot hotter during the summer months or wearing that on a regular basis, but this will be something that people can put over their regular pants and just go. They won't have to wear shorts or something underneath this to stay cool. So that's where we're headed, and that's where the fire service is trying to get away from the materials that are causing this. Hey, John. Can you be a little bit more quieter, please? So, trying to not have the material that causes this cancer to be against our skin.
Yeah.
So that's the purpose, but. And then it helps our gear, our structural gear, not wear as badly. So we can use this for training. We can use this for a lot of things that right now our structural gear is used for. And we have perspective of wearing out our structural gear, the knees, the shoulders, the elbows, things like that.
I one of the reasons why I'm in a fire camp again. I'm not likely to see this or
It depends on the wildland group, right? But this is wildland gear, so you may be seeing this in a fire camp, right? Versus, the Nomex. I think the hot shot teams and stuff like that, they wear stuff that is more form fitting than this, because this is designed to actually go over your pants and things like that. So you don't wear your underwear underneath this, that type of thing. But the wildland that you're used to is basically their pants, and you wear them as pants, and they're more form fitting. They're not as baggy as this would be. So it's just considered the agility. So this allows us to have a lot of flex. So when we're down on the ground around the car, trying to extricate, having to move up and down, things like that, where wildland firefighters they're walking usually on a parallel line, sometimes hiking up hills, but it's not something that they're jumping around on things, right? Where we need to have that flexibility. And that's why we're with the agility at this point.
cleaning process.
Same, these can be laundered in a regular laundry machine or the extractor that we have out there. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So hopefully these give us at least 10 years worth of time. So honestly, that's like $5,000 a year in depreciation, I guess, or appreciation, or however you, whatever that word is. I'm sorry. Mortalize or what's that word? Amortization. Yeah.
So, when a new person comes on,
Yeah.
do they pay anything or you just give them a uniform?
No, we provide everything for our people except for their duty pants and their duty boots.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have the funds even with the increase yet because we're trying to put away more capital reserve funds to overcome some of our needs in equipment and those types of things. So boots are basically $200 to $300 a person, right? Because they have to be a certain safety boot. And EMS pants would be maybe around $60, $70, $80, depending on the brand. Upwards of over $100 for EMS pants. But so they're required to buy their own medical pants and to have a safety boot with a composite toe or a steel toe to protect their feet. Usually it's HAIX or HAIX. HAIX is the brand that we normally guide them to. Those are the boots that I'm wearing today. And they have zipper for on and off. You can have slip-on boots as well. They have electrical hazards, puncture hazards. Those are the things that we're looking for, that they have to meet certain NFPA standards. Yeah, so this has a puncture-proof sole. So if I step on a nail, it won't go through the sole, right, and into my foot. Plus, these are safe in electrical hazards. So if we have an electrical conduction on the ground, these won't conduct that or anything else. So that's why they're so expensive. It's because they're having to meet certain standards. Yeah.
Well,
Say again? It's not snake proof. I hopefully we don't have to start dealing with snakes, but no. But these are different than wild ones. Like these, we wouldn't be able to wear in the field that's on fire because the soles of these will melt. Where the wildland boots have a much tougher sole and they're resistant to the heats of wildland fires. But these would start to break down if we utilize these in a burning field. So with that said, I'd have to put my fire boots on, right? My structural boots with these pants to go into the field. Yeah. But our bunker gear is just too heavy for wildland fires. It's way too heavy and it's very impractical. So.
And because they buy their own boots, is there some sort of direction they have to have?
Yeah, so they're given that direction that the boots need to be a certain standard and they need to provide certain protection. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Ellen and Curtis is just fulfilling our dual purpose gear order. Marketplace, $2,000. That's for station supplies, weekend duty supplies. US Bank Corp, so $51,000 on the credit card this last month. OHD is the SBA Masso self-contained breathing apparatus. So this is the machine, and this is a multi-year contract. Is that correct, John? 3 years. It's a multi-year contract for $3,500, but that machine has to be sent in every year to be calibrated because it's about our SCBA masks, the masks that go over our face, that they fit and they hold seals for the people. So we have to test everybody's mask every single year that their facial features have not changed to where they would need a smaller or larger mask. But this machine does that for us. So otherwise we'd have to drive down to Ferndale and have a company down there do that for us. So every member would have to go to Ferndale every single year in order to get tested. Wherefore we bought the machine here. So that's the machine. Shortstop Auto, welcome to my world. My truck still has electrical problems. Yeah, still has electrical problems. The engine light has not come on. Again, it has not decided to lose all power and go into a safety mode. The airbag component is still coming on and off. And then my anti-traction or my traction component in that vehicle is saying that it needs serviced and it goes on and off and turns itself on and off. But my doors haven't locked and locked themselves automatically by themselves lately. So it's getting better, but I still have some electrical issues. And Shortstop replaced my catalytic converter. Interesting enough, Chief Shields' vehicle, the Ford Interceptor, the vehicle that he drives. Its catalytic converter went out as well, and he had to have that replaced recently during his yearly maintenance on his vehicle. So two catalytic converters is kind of sounds really weird. But I think the engine part, I think that was the issue with my engine and causing the most problems. But they replaced one airbag sensor. Now they're going to have to look at others to see why my airbag keeps coming on and off, saying service airbag. Because I don't want mine and my steering wheel deciding to go off when I'm not expecting it, and deciding to hit me while I'm doing I-5 southbound. That would not be good. So I've spent a lot of money on the vehicle, but it's still driving. Has 180,000+ miles on it now. I plan on, my hope is to take it to 200,000 and then to start looking at a new vehicle at that point. So yeah, I'm hoping to get another 20,000 out of it. And
That should be rather quick. You drive a lot.
yeah, but we'll see. I'm starting to look at state bid to see if they have Tahoes available on state bid. Clark County 6 down in Vancouver, Washington. Last year, the state did not have Tahoes on the bid. So they went out to RFP with a company out of Idaho. And they have nothing but good things to say about that auto group that they purchased actually, or that bid on their Tahoes last year. So we'll see, but I would have to put it out to RFP at that point to see if I could get another Tahoe. I like the Tahoe. I like the size of it. It has plenty of room. For me, it has plenty of room to store all of the stuff that's necessary. So I likely would like to stay with the Tahoe, but we'll see what else is out there when the time comes. So, Future Sound Energy, that's self-explanatory. Electrical bills for the district. I'm going to start comparing. I'd like to compare what the electrical bills were last year at this time, because we have the new mini splits upstairs. And I want to see if those are more efficient than what we've been. They're keeping the temperature much more steady upstairs, so everybody's happy with that. And they also provide air conditioning during summer, so that's incredible. But I want to actually see if we're seeing a cost saving. So I'm gonna look back and see, okay, last December, January of 2024, 2023, where were we? And is the electrical bill less? Now we've turned up the heat a little bit in the ambulance bay and also the engine bay. So those are 55 to 60 degrees in there. And they still have a little chill, but we've turned up the heat to allow it to be more around 55, 60 consistently during the winter months. So that might be offsetting some of the savings we might be seeing, because over the years past, we've basically let it get below 50 in those apparatus bays, which I think is just too cold for gear to be sitting in there and people to get dressed and those types of things. So we've turned it up a little bit. Hotel Renaissance. This is the upcoming chief conference in Nashville. It's a firefighter mental health suicide conference that I'll be going to coming up. And that's the hotel for that period of time. EMT and fire training tuition. So $14,200. Impact EMS bought out emergency EMT and fire training, but EMT and fire training for their auditor purposes has to stay on the bills. So it's still the same company, but it got bought out by a larger company. So now it's known as Impact EMS. This is where we've always sent our people to get EMT training and advanced EMT training. So this year I had 3 members step up to become advanced EMTs and 1 member to step up to become an EMT. So, and the problem is basically the cost doubled per person. So we were spending $2,500 on advanced EMTs before. Now that cost has gone to $4,000 per student for advanced EMT. So advanced EMTs alone were 12 grand of that. And then the other, whatever it comes to out of the EMT is the additional cost of that. So $2,200 plus books. So we pay for their books, we get them books. And so some of that cost is books, but maybe $300 to $400 is books. It's not that much. So our EMT training is going to start increasing cost. And Panasonic Connect North, the $1,700 is for John's MDT, his mobile data terminal. So his computer that he has in his battalion. The Panasonic Toughbook has some electrical issues, some charging issues. Yeah, on the main board. So we had to send that off for repair. So that's that cost. UE Medical, that is another UE scope. That is my video laryngoscope when I'm intubating patients. It is a device that takes video and also pictures of my intubation success and or attempts. And then that is able to be downloaded and reviewed by our supervising physician to discuss with me on what I need to work on, if anything, on my intubation attempts. And to improve when I have to pass a tube down someone's airway when they're not breathing effectively or they're in cardiac arrest. So that's the UE scope. Life Assist Incorporated medical supplies. So we're about $4,500 in medical supplies. A number of that, a large portion of that is for the new ambulance. We've had to reorder new supplies for the ambulance. And things that were on 858 have now been outdated. So we had to replace all of those for the new ambulance. So that's when the medical costs come into play. Uline, we bought a new office desk for the main office for our personnel to utilize. And then Whatcom Signs LLC, that's about $7,500. That has to go with the district graphics, different things that we have, plates, things like that. But over 4,000 of that was to decal out the new ambulance. So to put on all the decals and everything on the new ambulance, the design, and also part of that is another $1,600 of that is for the protective coating to the front of the rig for rock chips and everything else that we put on the red van to help its exterior last longer and look better over the years to come.
Welcome home back.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so we did the same thing to the Welcome Home van, the community paramedic van. Brisk Manufacturing uniform patches. So those are the new station uniform patches that go on our shoulders. And I believe I ordered 300 of those. And that was the cost to have patches made. So.
Are they the same as you have on that?
No, this, can you go get one? John will get one, thank you. And get 4 of them, so we can give everybody a patch.
Nice. Can we fill them on our clothes?
No.
Okay. Thank
Oh, food.
But it's a
you.
beautiful, yeah, it's a beautiful patch. We worked on it, the coloring and everything else is gonna look really good on our dark uniforms. And it's very visible from a distance, and some of it's embroidered. Otherwise, the Maltese cross in the center is actually printed on the patch, but the Point Roberts and Together in Unity is embroidered. So we'll see what you guys think of it when John comes back with it. Then I believe that covers a lot of the expenditures that we've had. So.
Do you have any other questions?
So I don't see another month like this. We just got off to a bang start this year with some things that have come up, and obviously the ambulance and purchasing additional things that we need for the new ambulance. Like we needed another stair chair. So that's a cost that has to have been expended this year too. Is buying a new stair chair for the new ambulance. So we have identical stair chairs, and stair chairs are used to get people from a second floor to the first floor safely and stuff. So let me show you.
Did we have?
We only had one.
Oh.
And I want them to be the same for both ambulances. So we ordered another firm. So this is our new patch right there. So the Point Roberts is embroidered and the Together in Unity is embroidered. So, but they look really good on dark clothing.
Well, they really
So
do.
It'll be a nice addition. Looks good on your jacket.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
They're bigger. That,
Same size. Same size as our,
oh, okay.
oh. Yeah. Yeah, so we won't have to order patches for a few years at least. You have to understand it's 2 patches per person. You have 50 members, that's already 100 patches out. So, yeah, they go pretty quick. Okay, that is that. If anybody has any questions on any of this stuff,
They say no,
no?
thank you. And correspondence?
I got some birthday cards. But that was in February, I should say. That was February 1st. I got some birthday cards. So that wasn't part of January. Other than that, no correspondence to speak of.
Okay, and your report.
Okay, so the chief's report. You guys can see that. So, chief's report for February of 2025 for the month of January 2025. The new ambulance is expected to be in service the first week of March. So what is happening now is we're outfitting it with all of its components, medications, all the compartmentation we're going through. Because it's different than our last ambulance and it has less compartmentation. We're having to get very creative with how we're rethinking our ambulances that we are going to be using now and also into the future. So it'll be interesting to show people how we've overcome some of our space issues, but also I think it's going to make us a lot more efficient and not chipmunks of having stuff we have in the ambulance that we don't need in the ambulance. So it's going to take us down to the things that we actually need and not the things we don't. So I think that's a plus. It has to go down on the 17th. It has to go back to Mount Vernon to Hughes Fire to reinforce a wall in the driver's side rear compartment, which is known as compartment number 3. And it has to be reinforced, that wall. This ambulance came basically with hollow walls, so there's not a lot of ability to mount things on the walls. They have to be reinforced. It was just the way it was designed. So we have to reinforce this back wall in order to mount our SCBA racks to where we can put our firefighter breathing bottles into a securement. So we can't do it as is now because first time a firefighter would pull on that, it would probably pull out of the wall. So that's not a good thing. So we have to set it back down for that. We bought some new shelving to put into the compartmentation on the outside. We will have to probably do that on our own because it will not be here by the time we need to take it down to Hughes Fire. So when we get back, I'll be working with Chief Shields to install the rails and the shelves in the outside compartments. Once it is back, so it goes down on the 17th, we should be able to get it back by next Friday. And then that Monday, so the Monday the 24th, we will have Day Wireless up here. And they will be staying on Bells Grove in a really cute little home there, which I got a lot of interest from the community. I published it out that I needed a place for some people that were going to be coming up for the fire district to stay. And I got probably 5 responses of incredible homes and picked one. And it's an amazing little place. So I think they'll be very, very comfortable there. But the 24th, 25th, and 26th, potentially the 27th, the day of, they will be here installing all of our new radios in all of the apparatus. So that's new radios, potentially new wiring in certain apparatus, and also delivering our new portables, our handheld radios. So they're all being programmed at Skagit 911 right now because they have the Smart Connect system for these new APX radios that we have. And we will have to come underneath an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, or interlocal agreement with Skagit 911 for them to maintain the programming and change anything that we may need to change. And they can do it all online. Our radios don't have to go back down. They can just zap it into space and our radios update. So I'm proud of that. So the interesting thing is that the installation of these radios is about $25,000, right? To install them, to have people come up here and stuff like that, and stay here for 3 to 4 days. Yeah, so I thank goodness we have the funds to be able to do that.
What was the name of this group coming up?
Day Wireless.
Day Wireless.
Yeah, Day Wireless. So the new dual purpose gear is arriving, so I modeled it a little bit for you guys. And we'll be giving that out to our personnel, either this practice, at least start with the pants if the jackets don't arrive. And then when the jackets arrive, we'll be giving those to the members who got fitted. Now, I believe I probably have some members that did not get fitted. I'll be hiring members in the future that do not fit the current sizes that we have. And therefore, this will be an ongoing purchase type of thing, probably a couple sizes or a couple sets every single year that we're going to have to purchase in order to outfit the people. And that's something that is sometimes hard to understand because we don't have an organization that we're going to have people for 25 years like a career department does. So you have people for 25 years, you give them one set of gear, that gear is good for at least 10 years for that one person. So you're looking at every 10 to 12 years and having to flip that gear, where our gear, we may have to flip 3 or 4, sets, one to 5 sets a year, depending on who we hire. And I'm not going to discriminate on height or weight or anything like that on our hirings. We're going to hire the best people we can. And if we have gear that fits them, great. If we don't, then we have to have them sized down and order that gear. So that's an ongoing cost. 858 is still out of service. Hopefully next month I'll be able to say it's in service and it'll be the new rig. Chief 58, obviously I still have some electrical issues that are continuing. However, they have gotten better since I took the short stop in Swanson there. We lost a paramedic, so right now I'm the only paramedic in the district. Scott Payman got promoted to medical safety officer down in District 7. So he is week hours now. So he's 4 days a week during the day. So he doesn't have a lot of time anymore. It would not be, he said it would not be fair for him to stay on and not be able to give time to the community. So he decided to resign. My hope is that I'm able to get 1 or 2 of the new paramedics that have just hit the field, that they would be interested to come up here and serve this community. So we'll see if we can bump up those numbers. Still have 9 EMTs, which are 4 are advanced. Again, 3 of those EMTs are going to become advanced EMTs. So we should have around 7 or 8 advanced EMTs. 1 nurse, she is on, she's on maternity leave. She is with a new pregnancy. And so she has stepped away from the agency. Her husband still works for the agency. He got hired in North Whatcom, so Trent Viant and Sarah Viant will be expecting their 2nd child. But Trent got hired with North Whatcom Fire Rescue, so he'll be one of my co-workers, not in the same district, but I'll be responding in with him as a medic and him as a EMT provider for North Whatcom and stuff. I promised him I would not take it easy on him. So he's there, but they still live here. I'm hoping that they'll still live here for the coming couple years. And then most likely they'll, depending, they may move down into the county because Sarah works at St. Joseph's Hospital and he'll be working in Blaine for North Whatcom. So
That's pretty.
it'll probably happen. Yeah, it'll probably happen. 1 ambassador, and we lost the paramedics, so we went down to 37 firefighters. Volunteer hours for the month of January, 2,812.5. Volunteer payroll of all volunteers were getting paid, 15,092. Combined chief hours, I worked 186, Chief Shields 110.5, for a total of 296.5 hours. Total calls, we had a very busy month. And it equals times 10,000 the amount of money we spent on the credit card last month. So we had 51 calls and we spent $51,000 on expenditures on the credit card. So 51 calls last month. We had a lot of public service calls. We do have a residence that we are going to now on a regular basis. And we have the help of the adult protective services, the GRACE program, and some other services in the county trying to help this particular individual in our community with not overusing 911 services for things that aren't of an emergent or medical nature. But that's where a lot of our calls came from last month, was from this particular person, residents in our community. So we are here to serve, and we will help as much as we possibly can, and we will always respond. So regardless of how many times somebody is calling us during the month, for whatever purposes, help them get their slippers, get them a glass of water. These are things we are being called for and being dispatched out for. But we are a service agency, and as long as we have the staff and we're not tied up on a major call somewhere else, we obviously always go if you call 911. We will be there, someone will be there at your door. So I just want to make sure everybody know that we're not tracking people, right? But this particular residence has come up on the radar of law enforcement as a overuse potential. And so they're looking into it as well. So we're trying to help them as much as possible through all the avenues that we have available to us at this time. So we had 9 EMS calls. We had 1 airlift transport. We had 6 no transports. We had a county transfer to the medic units. We had 2 calls with that. We had 12 home healthcare calls through our community paramedic program. We had 21 public service calls, and we have 9 classifications of fires. We had 1 permitted fire, and we had 8 false alarms. So that concludes my chief's report for the month of February for January of 2025. And I'm happy to have any questions.
Questions? I don't see you. Stock picture.
I normally don't put it in there, but I send it out to you by email. So everybody gets this by email.
You'll make a copy for it.
Oh, yeah, you don't have email yet.
Someday. Okay, and no questions?
No.
All right. Thank you. That was a good report.
Thank you.
New business? Or unfinished business?
I don't know where to put the new business or unfinished business. We're on unfinished business. Are we unfinished business? Unfinished. Patty, do we have any unfinished business that you can think of?
No, we do not. Not that I'm aware of, Chief.
That we'll go into new business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Linda, do you know of anything?
You're not,
Okay, so I guess we can move on.
well, other than what's on the agenda.
Yeah, but she's unfinished business, so now do we go into new business?
Right,
Yes, already, yeah.
Okay, so new business, John?
Did you get off this first yesterday?
Yeah, I have that down. Yeah, yeah.
That's executive session, isn't it?
I don't.
Oh, different. matter.
Yep, there's a couple of things before these under new business for the executive session.
Okay.
Okay, so new business. I guess it could be,
I'm sorry, I never got the updated agenda. What has been added to the agenda?
The hospital district rent.
Right, but then you sent something else.
there was an executive session
Oh, sorry. Executive.
Oh, okay, and
added
what
for
is that regarding?
personnel. It's a
Oh, okay.
personnel.
I'm sorry, Patty. Don't know how that failed to reach you.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, so we're on new business now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Patty, do you want me to bring up the hospital district form?
Either way, Chief, or I can just go over it with the board, that's fine. Yeah, just in regards to the 2025 annual rent.
So I brought it up.
Oh, thank you. Great. Attached is just the updated CPI, the Consumer Price Index for the Seattle area as of December 2024. Just noted that the CPI was up 2.7% from a year ago. And this is usually what we use each year just to see where we are for the upcoming rent. And as noted, the 2024 rent, the increase, we went per the CPI of the 4.4%. which was $19,604.87 for 2024. If the board so chooses to go with the current CPI, which is the 2.7, that would be an increase of $529.33 for a total of $20,134.20.
So how do you feel about that? You want them to pay more?
I'm happy.
Okay.
I would say.
They are open.
Hmm.
uh,
Is it any hardship on them? I don't know.
Not that I know of. I haven't heard any hardship, or had any conversations regarding the hospital district at this point.
Okay,
Linda, have you heard anything?
I'm not. They are open. Five days a week.
Yeah, so they're open 5 days a week now as well.
Yeah.
So, I think they're doing fine.
okay,
If I do have that conversation with Dr. Sean or another physician over there, I could bring that back to the commissions on a later meeting
That would be good.
if necessary.
okay, I think that's fine. Can I have a motion for?
So the motion would be to approve, the CPI increase for that total.
No,
Approved.
no, the total is $20,134.20.
Right.
Okay. And everybody's in agreement for that. Okay, all right. My goodness, that was complicated.
Patty, do you have any questions on that?
No, I don't. So that was approved, and I'll go ahead and I'll send this invoice out in the next month or so. It's not due until May, but I typically send it out the end of February or the beginning of March.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next thing on the agenda then is an executive session.
Yeah, I have some new business before that.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry.
We're still going.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So, new business, I guess, I've mentioned this before, so I guess this could go under unfinished business. But you understand that we did contract with a engineering firm down, King Architects,
Yes.
down in Bellingham, that drew out a new building next to the clinic here, a 48 by 48 structure that would give us 2 more bays and more storage. So the concept of that would be to move the 2 big engines that we have over in the farthest bays over to that building, and then move the primary engine and primary ambulance into those bays. So when they come down the stairs, they have a quicker response time, and both their primary vehicles are right there. That would maintain the backup ambulance in this bay here. Scooby-Doo, potentially the brush would be here too. The van, we may be able to put more in that building than what I'm thinking, if that building was potentially built. Here's the issue. The drawings are done. All of that is finished. We would need to go to the county and get it all permitted. Now, as far as I understand the permitting process, we would have a couple years at least to build the building after the permits were approved. There are extensions, I guess, that you can put in for, but the approval process would take probably 6 months to get this approved. So that puts us into middle summer range. And then if it was something we would want to erect this year, going out to RFP for that and finding a contractor that would put the building up. I'm thinking that this is going to be a $300,000 to $500,000 endeavor with the concrete that would have to be poured for the apparatus bay over there, because it can't go on top of the asphalt that is currently sitting there. So we can start the permitting process. We can get the permits. So in the next year, 2 years, potentially 3, I'm not sure about if we can extend the permits out that far. That this would be something that we could go forwards with. Now, the reasoning for this building is because we're out of space. And I will show you, I guess I'll show you, I can't walk with the computer, but anybody's welcome to come by. I'll show you after the meeting, just so everybody knows. I'll be showing the commissioners our current parking situation inside of our bays. We really have no distance now between the 2 ambulances. Our people have to actually go up on the back bumper to walk between the 2 ambulances of 850 and 802. Therefore, they can't walk in front or walk behind either ambulance now to get around it. without walking up on the rear bumper of the ambulance in front. So we're inches. We're like 3 inches away from hitting the other ambulance with the amount of depth we have in our current ambulance bay parking. So I discussed maybe purchasing a second ambulance, getting rid of the 1991 ambulance that is our current backup, purchasing another ambulance. But I don't know if we can get an ambulance that's even shorter than the one we currently have is 850-802, the white one, because that's a 146-inch box and it's a snub nose. So that cab is actually the shortest cab we can get in that type 3 ambulance. So a new type 3 would be bigger than that, so it would not fit. So here's the plus minus. 858 got hit last October, which we were planning on. That was our red ambulance for those online or that have seen our ambulances. That was our red one. We were planning on that going into secondary, right, as a secondary ambulance out, and purchasing a new ambulance to replace the white one that is currently our first out ambulance now. And that's a 1991. It doesn't have airbags up front. It has no safety up front for people that are driving. So if we would have had our red one and bought this white one, they would not have fit in the current bays we have. So we would not be able to be parking our red one and our white one the new one we bought in the same bay because they would be too long combined. So that's where we're at of potentially putting up another building next to the clinic. Again, it's all been engineered out, the drawings. I am in possession of all the drawings. The next step would be to go through the permitting process with the county, which again would take up to 6 months. They said they would try to work with us to do what they could to expedite the process, but emergency services is not exempt from any part of that process. And that would probably be in the range of $15,000, $20,000 to get the permits to be in a place to move forward to get the building of this project if that came in our future. Right now, we have about 1.2 million in all of our accounts. That includes the 395,000 that will be going into our capital. So that includes that. This year, we'll be putting away, obviously, over $300,000 again into reserve capacity. So we'll have 1.5-ish, 1.4-ish, depending on what capital things need to be done this year. And we would have more in reserve at that point. We still need to have the discussion on how much money do we want to have, and how low would you want to draw down our reserve capacity? Is that to 400,000? Is that to 500,000? Is that to 600,000? Right? And would we be able to utilize the rest of that to start putting away or start to taking off our capital issues that we have? It doesn't have to happen today. That conversation doesn't have to happen today, but it's something that needs to be considered for the future. Again, I will try to find out, and this can wait. We can have this discussion again next month. I believe I'm away, but I can hopefully log in to next month's meeting or the next month after that, because I don't think the building would be built this year in any case. I don't think it would be erected this summer. So I think maybe we try to permit it this year if that's your choice, and then maybe think about erecting it next year or the year after that, depending on how much time we have with the permits to start the project. So if we build that at all, I am starting to look for another ambulance that is shorter than 850-802. That will be a very, very short ambulance. And again, I'm not sure if I can find one shorter than 850-802 is at this point, even a van type 2. I don't know if they come shorter than what 850-802 is right now. Do you know, John?
That's right.
Yeah, when we measured things out earlier, we were pretty much the same length. So I will show you, just so the public knows, after the meeting, I'll be showing the commissioners, not to make a decision on anything, but just to show them how the ambulances are butted up right now and the lack of space that we have to continue the conversation of potentially building in the future. So that's what I wanted to bring up there. The other is the patient who was being transported during the ambulance collision has incurred additional medical bills that were not paid through Medicare, her deductibles and those types of things. And she has incurred additional bills. I think we've had the discussion to understand that ICBC has denied any responsibility in this. They have refused to pay any medical claims of any sort revolving around this collision since it happened in Canada. Those that aren't familiar with Canada provincial law in British Columbia in 2021, provincial government put in a no fault clause into automobile wrecks. So unless you have dash cam video or something like that, that would prove otherwise, and even in some cases there, that's not working, that regardless of who hits who and what caused that collision, it is a no fault situation. So that took ICBC refusing any claim that we have for helping them pay their medical bills because of this. Then our insurance company has denied to pay any medical bills associated with this as well, because we are at no fault. So we have gone round and round with McNeil and Company in regards to having it treated as a collision that would have involved an uninsured motorist and allowing it to be covered underneath our uninsured coverage that we have. They have denied that claim as well. So they are refusing any type of responsibility to pay any additional or assist in this patient paying their associated costs with being injured inside our ambulance on the way to the hospital. It's amazing to think that inside Canada, you can basically be paralyzed and not have any recourse for the rest of your life, unless you're Canadian. And then either ICBC will pay that medical for the rest of your life, or WorkSafe, depending if you're on the job, would pay that medical for the rest of your life. But if we get in a wreck, we have no recourse with ICBC, regardless of us being hit by somebody else and we have no fault. They just consider it a no fault on both parties. This is also now I've asked our attorney to take this even a step further. They're going to be contacting a legal firm in Canada to look into this further for us to see if there's any avenues we can take. We have been made whole by our insurance company. They have paid us out $164,500 for the replacement value of our ambulance that was wrecked. And we were able to purchase a new ambulance, even though it didn't cover the entire cost. We spent about $110,000 above that to get a new ambulance, but they have made us whole. So they've done their job for us as a district. We have also now added another addendum to our insurance plan that will cover any future people that are involved in a collision inside of one of our apparatus. It'll give each individual that's involved or that's injured $5,000 a piece to utilize to overcome these incurred costs associated with the accident. Now, that doesn't help anybody that would become severely injured, paralyzed, or crippled, for life. We still have no answers to that if we are involved in another collision at some point inside Canada. It definitely puts us on heightened driving skills, right? And at a different, but anybody can come into you at any time. We had a meeting with BC Ambulance, Chief Shields and I did yesterday, and they've told us stories that people will come into their lanes just out of the blue. A driver will turn right into them when they're running lights and sirens, and for no reason they came into their lane. And again, it's an ICB coverage, and it's different because ICB will fix the apparatus, right? We'll fix the ambulances and all of that in Canada. But I don't know if our insurance company will be made whole by ICBC. If ICBC will pay them the equivalent of $164,500 to replace our ambulance. Whether or not ESIP McNeil and Company will get that check from ICBC, I don't know. And I don't know if we even have the right to know if they've been made whole in this process. So this is very disheartening to me. I spoke to Brian Snur, our legal attorney. I've had contact with the patient and her husband for the months that have followed this accident. The best thing that we have come up with is, and the way the district can help this patient be made whole and not go to collections, because they do not have the funds to pay these additional bills that they have been levied at no fault of their own. That's the problem that I have, is that somehow all of this became the patient's fault. And they're responsible for the additional, the injuries that they sustained during this accident, and that no one is stepping up to support them. So the patient has filed a tort claim against this district, and that is to pay these incurred costs, which equal $4,918.23. This is a legal process that that patient can do. It does not put us at fault in any case, but we are making a choice, if you guys approve, to support our patients at no fault of their own that was injured in a collision that no one else will take responsibility for to support them. So again, this is a legal tort claim, and it was filed yesterday with the patient in my office. And I would need your permission to pay the $4,918.23, which is compiled of a number of medical bills that they have received. They're on Medicare, and they have used their Medicare during this process, but these are the additional costs that Medicare did not cover during this time. They don't believe that they will incur any other expenses beyond what they already have. They think they've gotten all the bills. But I told them if that's the case, then they need to come back to the district. Yes, Patty.
I have a question. Did you say a tort claim?
That is correct. T-O-R-T.
Okay.
It's a tort.
So does that get filed with our insurance to pay?
No, the insurance will not pay. McNeil Company, McNeil, I have talked to Brian Snur. This has been a conversation with our legal counsel, and our insurance is not paying anything. The tort claim will not go to our insurance. The tort claim will be that responsibility of the district.
And that's in Mr. Snur ensures that that is not considered gifting of public funds because it's a legal tort claim.
That's correct. So this is not gifting of public funds. This is a tort claim that the commissioners would have to. That's why I went through legal, Patty. So this
Certainly.
This is something that's been approved by legal already, and that's why I'm bringing it to the commissioners.
No, I understand that. Thank you for explaining about the insurance and all of that with the vehicle. That is extremely disheartening the way that works. And so we're not really sure if McNeil and Company, like you said, will be able to recoup that money then, in a sense.
Correct.
Which explains the reason for increases.
That's correct. So this is the legal process that this patient has at their disposal to ask for the assistance of the fire district to cover these incurred costs.
Your insurance company has issues trying to get police reports, the dash cam video from.
Yeah, and our insurance company, as far as I know, they've been unable to acquire the dash cam video from Argo Safety Services. I do know that the patient has contacted 3 law firms to potentially take case against Argo Safety Services directly outside of ICBC claim. And those 3 law groups have said they have no claim to even go after Argo Safety Services personally to recoup damages for pain and suffering. So this is a scary time for any of us that are driving in Canada. I have asked our legal counsel to, when he talks to the legal firm in Canada, to ask them what happens if an ICB insured person hits us here in Point Roberts. So if an ICBC, does ICBC cover a person here driving across the border in Blaine, Seattle, a Canadian driver that crosses the border into the United States? Are they covered by ICBC insurance, or is ICBC going to have the same stance, whether they get in a wreck here in the United States or that of Canada? Now, what I've been told so far is that there's an ability for ICBC insured drivers to get additional insurance, which is international coverage insurance, or I don't know what's truly, called, but ICBC has an additional plan that they can get above and beyond if they are going to be going international. Now, that doesn't mean every driver in Canada has that. So if an ICBC driver, insured driver, runs over somebody here and kills somebody, is that going to be a no fault situation, or will ICBC be responsible for that family, right? For that person that was injured or paralyzed, or the vehicle damage. It's stated that they'll pay for vehicle damage. Right. That's what we've heard. That's through the grapevine. I don't have a piece of paper in front of me saying that they will pay for vehicle damage. Right. I do know that provincial law, or that 2021, whatever it would be, does state that they'll pay for vehicle replacements and things like that, but they won't pay for pain and suffering or medical. So I want to know, if we get in a wreck here, if we're running emergent to a call and a ICBC insured driver pulls out in front of us and it's not our fault and a police report is taken, if ICBC will be responsible for repairing our vehicle since it happened in the United States. It puts all of us in danger, to my personal feelings, of driving in Canada at this point, whether we're going our personal vehicles or in emergency services vehicles. So that's where we're at. But the tort claim is a legal process. It was provided by our legal counsel for the patient to have access to this district and to gain permission of this commission to cover those incurred bills that they have no way of paying. And they are at a point where they're going to be taken to collections as well at this point. So
This is a nightmare.
it is. It's unethical in my mind.
Yeah.
It's completely unethical in a lot of ways, in my perspective. Some may agree, some may not, but that's my perspective, is that this should never happen in any type of insurance, that people should take responsibility. Whether we were at fault, or let's say we were at fault in that collision, that our insurance company would, take responsibility for that, and they would do the job that they're, paid to do.
What about the driver that hit the ambulance? And do they have insurance? Is there anything in that?
I mean, the patient could go after the driver personally,
Yeah,
but realistically, what are you going to get from that?
probably.
Right.
nothing.
If they have a bank account worth $5,000, would you even get all of $5,000? I mean, that's a long process too, right? So
And costly.
and costly, and they've contacted 3 attorney groups in Canada that have all said they don't have a case. Which doesn't make any sense to me. So what I'm asking is if the commission will approve the tort claim at $4,918.23 to cover the patient's incurred costs of their medical treatments from this instance.
Somebody want to make a motion? Okay.
So they obviously don't have any other insurance.
No, I mean, the car insurance is it's not an uninsured claim through their car insurance, right?
They
So
don't have any other policy
no, they're under Medicare.
covers that.
Yeah, they have Medicare.
They don't have loose.
Yeah. And they've come to our meetings, so anybody that's watched our meetings know who the individuals are, but it would be the approval of that tort claim. And then that would be sent to our legal counsel for any additional review that would be necessary. And then I would go ahead and pay those bills for them.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, all of this, information you just gave us. Does it affect us in other ways going forward?
Well, it definitely puts us on a heightened risk of traveling through Canada with any of our patients, right? Or even with any of our vehicles. That if we are struck at no fault of our own, hopefully no one's injured, right? That we don't have a patient inside of an ambulance, and it's just a vehicle issue at that point. I think the vehicle repair, again, our insurance company is who made us whole. We have no funds from ICBC at this point. Our insurance company covered the cost of our replacement that we have under contract with them, right? They have to, and I forget what the individual is called. There is a certain status individual within McNeil and Company or ESIP that is the person that has to contact ICBC and request payment or reimbursement of those funds from ICBC. I don't know if we have access, whether or not to know if that has happened or if that hasn't happened. I don't know if we have permission or that we have the legal right to know what our insurance company has done beyond making us whole ourselves.
So once they've done that, and
Then if they go after the money through ICBC, that's on them.
yeah,
It's no longer an us to know for us to be in the know.
yeah.
We are no longer in the circle of trust. At that point.
So are you?
Say again, John?
No,
Yeah, so
okay. Well, we need an answer today.
Well, I have a couple questions to finish this motion. There is a motion on the table. I need the exact amount again, 4,900,
$18.23.
and it's to settle the tort claim because they've already filed it.
Yes, it was
Okay,
filed
thank
it was filed with me yesterday.
Yeah.
And this is to settle the tort claim in that amount to cover the additional incurred costs.
Uncovered medical bills on the patient involved in our ambulance motor vehicle accident.
Yes, due to it being seen as or identified as a no fault with ICBC and our insurance company. Because it has been deemed a no fault issue, therefore our insurance company is not obligated to pay out.
No one is at fault, it's just a big accident.
So my next question,
Well, we still have a motion on the table. Are you still asking
No,
questions
this is
to
about-
clarify?
I'm still asking
Okay,
one more question. What goes on further? So we pay this
Yes,
going further.
if they have additional bills that come in later, that could be a separate tort claim, okay, on those bills. But, you know, it was brought up, what if this was $1 million?
No, my thing was this. Should we be paying it at this time? I'm talking about
Right.
thinking of the timing.
And I asked that question.
Yeah,
I asked that question to the patient yesterday, and they believed that this was all the bills, that they weren't going to be receiving any other bills. So at their best,
That's their responsibility.
right?
the reason I said that, because I find, I'm on Medicare as well.
Mhm.
And wow, it could take a long time before they get their next
Yeah.
bill.
It's normally 180 days.
And they don't, I don't know how you research if all bills are been paid
Right.
and so on.
So I would say that they have the right to have a tort claim, additional
Right.
tort claim in the future, if additional bills come in.
normally in exchange for a settlement, they would have to sign that there will be no future claims.
Yeah,
That's a normal process.
and that was not part of the language of the tort claim, which is the tort claim.
That would be the language of the settlement.
Right, but that was not the language in the tort claim process that our attorney sent us for the legal process.
Okay.
So, we did discuss that, but it's not, there's no documentation. And again, if Brian has additional documents that need to be signed by the patient before this is actually paid, then I will let you know. But everything that I gave the patient at this point is what documents our legal counsel sent us for the patient to fill out and to agree to and to sign.
See, that I would feel more comfortable if it was stated that would, I understand the situation and I feel that we should pay the bill itself. But are we open for something else that is unforeseen? And what you were saying was that I believe is, we're just basically talking about a settlement. And I think it would be worthwhile having something said about anything in the future.
Well,
If that's it. Okay.
well, no, an additional problem is that if they don't pay this bill, they're gonna,
Go into
they're
collections.
gonna go into collection, and then it's gonna be an even bigger,
I think the problem is, like, see where North's coming from. I think you guys are kind of agreed that you're gonna pay this. I see where North's coming from, that 2 months from now, 3 months from now, they come back and say, no, we want more. So where's the?
Is there some way to review any of the, giving us a possibility of what's gonna happen, in some sense, because this is like, look, I don't mind changing this bill, I think it's sufficient to do that and the right thing to do. It's just the future unknown that I'm a little
Well,
bit
and
skeptical.
part of it that makes it worse is Canadian, and we don't understand Canadian.
Well, these are all medical bills from the United States.
Oh, these are all okay, sorry. But sometimes you're right, they do come way later.
Right. But, I mean, are we over the hump on what happened already? Or is there something lingering?
Again, it certainly could be. But I think I think they need, the problem is, I think they
I
need
know
the
they
money
need the help now, and I'm
because,
saying, yeah, I'm fine with that.
well, if they get more bills, we'll have to.
I'm trying to see
revisit
it. I'm trying,
Another thing you could potentially be opening yourself up to is Medicare has covered all of the costs that Medicare deemed,
Right.
right? So what they've not covered, what are those? Like, just totally hypothetical. Like, did she have plastic surgery? So was
No.
it not required, was it elective?
no,
But does this open up the district to potential future medical attention that is not required for her good health? I just, because the language, I think what Norm is saying is, the language isn't strict enough to protect the district from future claims of any kind
Mhm.
that they could just make up.
And I seen if Brian's available to come online, to see if he could answer some of these questions more,
Do you want to
specifically.
postpone this and go into executive session and?
Yeah, so I guess we can postpone this and go into executive session to see if Brian has time to come in
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
executive session. To discuss.
Traffic does.
So we're at executive session.
Yes.
So.
You need an expected time that you'll return.
Yep.
It's currently 5:17.
Okay, so how long do you think this is gonna take?
5:40,
Okay,
so,
all right, we'll be back at 5:40.
is that 23 minutes?
Yeah.
What's that?
20, yes,
So it's 5:17 now?
yep,
I think 5:30.
5:30,
Yeah,
okay?
5:30. So that should give us, it should be really quick. Okay, so everybody will return at 5:30 to continue the meeting and see if our legal counsel has time to come onto the meeting to explain the tort process, and anything further that I may not have explained well or inappropriately at that point.
Good. And we leave
Okay, everybody, we're back out of the executive session.
here.
Okay, I'd like to, so just to make sure everybody's aware, there's nothing that needed a decision. It was informational purposes only in the executive session, regarding the personnel matter of the district. I'd like to go back. I do have the numbers of all the bills insured that I could potentially call, for those that may be being taken to collections, that, and ask them to postpone that. Because I haven't received any,
Well, you know, if there were putting hardships on, it, maybe we could get part of this done. Well,
Well, that's essentially what the motion on the table is to pay this much, but leave the door open for future bills.
But
hey, Brian, can you come on our, the commissioners have questions about this tort claim, that I'm unable, I think, to effectively answer. And would you be able to, I can put you on speaker and see if you're loud enough. Okay, let me put you on speaker real quick, see if it's fairly loud. Okay, can you say something for us?
Sure. Good evening, everybody.
Okay, so the tort claim was filed yesterday by the patient involved, and it comes to a total of $4,918.23. And I've brought that to the commission today to discuss and potentially approve. We've discussed the whole back process of why this has happened and the reason why we're being asked or being presented with this tort claim so far. The questions have arise, what if there's more claims in the future, more medical bills that currently haven't come through for the patient that they cannot afford to pay? And is there a possibility of an additional tort claim in the future, with additional bills that aren't covered by their Medicare? Which are the bills that we are currently having in front of us are the expenses not covered by Medicare. So what else was being asked? So that's one of the main ones, right? What is the future liability of the district regarding any non-presented medical bills currently? Can you just start covering some of
Can I
that?
ask first who's present at the meeting right now?
So we have Assistant Chief John Shields, we have our Secretary Linda Hughes, we have Commissioner Katz, Commissioner Lester, and Commissioner Harper, myself, and the All Point Bulletin is online.
Because the questions you're asking would involve legal advice, and we would really need to go into a short executive session for me to give privileged and confidential legal advice.
Okay.
Okay, we can add that to the agenda. Is there
The
any?
only person that couldn't attend that would be the All Points Bulletin, because everybody else is affiliated, but it'd be up to you and the board who comes into that executive session.
Okay, so are we allowed to add we've already done one executive session for a personnel issue. Are we allowed to add a second addendum, or can we
that was
modify?
not pre-announced.
Can we modify our?
Is this a regular meeting of the board?
This is a regular meeting of the board.
Then yes, you can modify the agenda, add an executive session, and call the executive session.
Okay, how long do you think this will take?
We can always extend, so I don't know how long you guys been talking about it, maybe 10 minutes. I don't think it should take longer than that.
Okay, so 5:50 reconvene at 5:50.
And the
It's 5:45
basis for the
now.
executive
And it
session
should be
would be
5:45.
Sorry.
RCW 42.30.110 subsection 1 subsection I to meet with legal counsel to discuss threatened litigation.
Okay, so can you, did you get that RC?
No, I didn't get all that.
Can you repeat that RCW one more time, please?
Yeah. 42.30.110 subsection 1 subsection I.
Okay.
Okay, we'll reconvene at 5:50. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pause the meeting and we'll be going into a second executive session. Okay, we've returned from the executive session. It is now 5:50. We're going to continue the regular meeting. Our attorney, Brian Snur, will be leaving the meeting at this point.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, so executive session, again, legal counsel advice. There was things discussed. The direction was,
Do you want to hear the new motion? Because it includes the direction.
absolutely. So would you like to review that?
This is a motion to approve the settlement of the tort claim in the amount of $4,918.23 for the cost of uncovered medical bills of the patient involved in our ambulance motor vehicle accident upon receipt of a signed release of all future claims.
That's the motion on the floor.
Second.
Norm seconds. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I will get in touch with the patients. We will be receiving the release documents from our legal counsel, most likely tomorrow. And I will have another conversation, most likely with Chief Shields in the room as well, with the patient to review the release. And if they're comfortable and they have the feeling that no other bills will be coming through, and if they sign the release, therefore, I will go ahead and pay those medical bills that are part of this tort claim. Are you okay with me paying such bills online through the organizational's distribution pay links to solve the claims as soon as possible due to the patients? As they stated, they're going to be sent to collections on this. If we pay by check, these claims will be obviously a month and a half out to have been paid. So,
Any objections? No, I think let's do the best that we can do for the patient.
okay. Any questions?
Okay,
Okay.
anything else?
Yes.
Oh, my
When
goodness.
you were in executive session, I got contacted by the hospital district superintendent. The hospital district would like to install a handrail in the interior of the clinic, where on the wall where they weigh people to help folks grab onto something to prevent a fall. They're asking permission, and if you have any special needs on a contractor, or if they can just go ahead and hire their guy, they're considering MEMA, so many. to install
And are they paying for this?
it. Yeah,
So it's at their cost, they're not expecting the fire district to install this railing?
they didn't say, I asked them, who are you expecting to do this? And they said, at the moment, we're considering Nima Solomani.
Okay, the one thing I would want to know is if they plan on turning over the invoice to the fire district.
I'm just asking that question now. I got bubbles, he's coming with an answer.
Oh, yeah, okay. He's,
I mean, some people don't mind after having my house built.
no, he's,
A lot of bubbles.
You guys are gonna need a mocktail after this.
no
Yeah.
kidding.
And remember, I need to show you the ambulance today and to show you the situation that we're in. Okay. Still bubbles?
He said, yes, we would front the cost. And I said, front? Does that mean you intend to give the district the bill later?
No, I mean, oh, front.
Yeah, front sounds like there's a back end.
Pay in front.
Well, this is something they're,
Sorry, solely on us.
okay, all right, so I don't have a problem with them putting in a handrail for their, where they weigh people so people don't fall.
Okay.
And can maintain their balance. Do you have any issues with them
Nope.
installing a handrail? John?
Lines and put it in the studs.
Make
Yeah,
sure they put it in the studs.
that's. Well, that Nemo would hopefully
You don't wanna
clue
assume,
in on that.
we don't wanna assume anything.
Well, they should have enough sense.
Well, that's what I mean.
The should have enough sense part is how lawsuits are created.
Oh, I know.
Okay, so that's decided. The clinic's able to put in a handrail next to where they potentially weigh patients, so the patients can have better balance while being, or assist out of a chair, out of a wheelchair to stand up. Or,
That is a problem.
Yeah.
It is very much.
yeah, okay,
That's a very good thing.
that's solved.
We should actually factor. Do we have anything else we have to do today?
We're gonna go see that.
I don't have anything else.
No. Could we have a motion to adjourn at 5:56?
I make a motion, we adjourn by 56.
Second the motion.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging on today at the meeting. Appreciate all of you being there. Thank you.